أكبر الله أكبر.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praises due to Allah, Lord of all that exists, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His final messenger Muhammad, his family and his companions.
إخواني كل منا قال الله عز وجل سبحانه خلقنا على عبادته.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us for His worship.
وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون.
And Allah says that I only created the humans and humans and jinn for my worship alone.
ما هي العبادة؟
So what is worship?
كمال الذل كمال الحب مع كمال الذل لله تبارك وتعالى.
It is to have full and complete submission and love for Allah alone.
أن تبذل كمال حبك وكمال قلبك لله عز وجل.
It is to give your full complete love for Allah alone.
وكمال ذلك لله تبارك
And
وتعالى.
complete and full submission for Him alone.
وهذا هو معنى العبادة.
And this is what worship means.
قال الله تبارك وتعالى
Allah says,
قل إن كان آباؤكم
say that if your fathers
وأبناؤكم
and your sons
وإخوانكم
and your brothers
وأزواجكم
and your spouses
وعشيرتكم
and your families
وأموال اقترفتموها
and the wealth that you gather
وتجارة تخشون
and the
كسادها
commerce in which you fear loss
ومساكن ترضونها
and the residences that you love
أحب إليكم من الله
are more beloved to you than Allah and
ورسوله
His Messenger
وجهاد في
and
سبيله
striving in His cause,
فتربصوا
then wait
حتى يأتي الله بأمره.
until Allah brings about His command.
قال كل من يقول بأنه يحب الله عز وجل أكثر من كل شيء.
All of us claim to love Allah more than anything else.
كل من يقول بأنه يحب الله عز وجل أكثر من أبيه.
All of us claim to love Allah more than our fathers,
أكثر من أمه.
more than our mothers,
أكثر من زوجته.
more than our wives,
أكثر من أولاده.
more than our children,
أكثر من نفسه.
more than ourselves.
هل أحد منكم يقول بأنه يحب صديقه أكثر من حبه لله؟
Do any of you say that you love your friend more than you love Allah? She's asking you,
هل أحد منكم يحب صديقه أكثر من حبه لله؟
do you love your friend more than you love Allah?
كل ما يقول بأنه يحب الله عز وجل أكثر من كل شيء.
All of us will say that we love Allah more than anything else.
لكن هل الواقع يصدقها؟
But is the reality of our situation, does it show this?
هل الواقع يصدق كلامنا؟
Does the reality of our actions support what we say with our tongues?
تأتيك رسالتك رسالة من أحب الناس إليك.
When you have a message on your phone from someone who's very close to you,
تقرأ الجملة الأولى من الرسالة.
you read the first sentence of that message
وتتفكر فيها.
and you think about it
وتنظر ما وراء السطور ماذا تعني.
and you try to understand or read behind the words and see the hidden meanings.
ثم تقرأ الجملة الثانية من رسالة صاحبك.
And then you read the second sentence
تحاول أن تتدبرها.
and you also try to reflect on the second sentence.
ثم تحاول أن توجد العلاقة بين الجملة الأولى والثانية.
And then you try to connect between sentence 1 and 2.
وهكذا الثالثة.
And then sentence number 3
والرابعة.
and number 4
إلى أن تنتهي من الرسالة.
until you end the message.
هل تغلق الرسالة؟
And then do you close that message?
ما تغلق.
No.
تعيد قراءة مرة
So
أخرى.
you probably read it a second time
وثانية.
and a third time
وأنت في قمة السعادة.
and you're extremely happy and enjoying reading that message.
لكنك عندما تفتح المصحف
But when it comes to reading the Quran,
وتقرأ الصفحة الأولى
you read a whole page
ثم الجملة ثم الصفحة
and then
الثانية
a second page
ثم تغلق المصحف.
and then you close the Quran.
يسألك أحدهم ماذا فهمت من ذلك؟
So someone asks you, what did you just understand from those 2 pages you read?
هل تدبرت هذه الآيات؟
Did you reflect upon any of those verses that you read?
هل أوجدت المناسبة بين كل آية والآية اللي قبلها
Did
والآية
you
اللي
try to
بعدها؟
connect between the meanings of those verses that you read?
قال الحمد لله قرأت المصحف.
You say, no, I just read those 2 pages.
إذا جلس إليك أحب الناس إليك
If you were sitting with a very close friend of yours
فأخذ يحدثك
and he starts to speak to you,
قلبك معه
your heart is attentive to them,
عقلك معه
your mind's paying attention to them,
عينك عليه
your eyes are focused upon them,
أذنك معه
you're listening attentively to them,
جسمك نحوه.
you're giving them your full focus and attention.
لكننا عندما نقف في الصلاة
But then when you come and stand in a prayer
أول ما تكبر تقول الله أكبر
and you say Allahu Akbar at the beginning of the prayer,
تفكر ماذا ستفعل بعد الصلاة؟
You already start thinking about what you're going to do later on after the prayer.
تفكر في السوق المركزي.
You're thinking about going shopping.
تفكر في الدراسة.
You're thinking about your studies.
تفكر في صاحبك.
You're thinking about your friend.
تفكر في آخر مشاجرة تشاجرت بها.
You're thinking about the last disagreement you had with someone.
تفكر أين هل تذهب للرياضة أم لا تذهب للرياضة.
You're thinking about whether you're going to go to the gym or not.
إلى أن تنتهي الصلاة.
Until the whole prayer finishes.
فعلا تحب الله أكثر من صاحبك.
So do our actions show them that we love Allah more than our friends?
قلبك ليس معك وأنت تقرأ القرآن.
Because when you're reading the Quran, your heart's not even attentive.
عندما تجلس مع أحب الناس إليك.
But when you're sitting with one of your friends who's beloved to you,
يكلمك ويكلمك.
and you're speaking to him and he's speaking to you,
يأتي أحدهم من الخارج.
if someone was to come
يكلمك.
and interrupt you,
تقول اسمح لي.
you would say to them, excuse me,
أنا مشغول مع صاحبي.
I'm busy talking to my friend.
سأكلمك بعد
I'll
ذلك.
speak to you later.
لكنك عندما تقرأ القرآن
But when you're reading the Quran,
أو تسمع القرآن
or you're listening to the Quran,
تكلم هذا وهذا وهذا.
you don't mind having a conversation with this person and the second one and the third one.
ففعلا تحب الله أكثر من صاحبك.
So does this show that we love Allah more than our friends?
هذا واقع أخواني أم ليس الواقع؟
Isn't this the true reality of our situation?
أسألكم.
Just asking you, isn't this what we find in ourselves?
واقع. قال كيف الخلاص؟
So someone may ask, then what do I do?
أريد أن أحب الله أكثر من كل
I
شيء.
want to love Allah more than anything else.
دلني على الطريق.
So show me the way.
هناك ثلاثة أسباب.
There are 3 ways
تجعلنا نحب الله تبارك وتعالى أكثر من كل
through
شيء.
which you will love Allah more than anything else.
ما هي الطريقة الأولى؟
What is
السبب الأول.
What is the first way?
هاي طبيعة الناس متعلقة بالجمال.
The nature of people is they love beauty.
إذا أراد أحدكم أن يتزوج سأل عن جمال المرأة.
If one of you wants to get married, the first thing you ask about is how beautiful the woman is.
وكذلك المرأة ربما تسأل عن جمال الرجل.
And the woman does the same. How handsome is the man?
أتى أحدهم أحد الشباب.
Shaykh said that a young man came to him one day
فقال لي هل ممكن لزوجتك أن تبحث لي عن زوجة؟
and he said to me, can you please ask your wife to help me find someone to marry?
قلت لا بأس.
I said, no problem.
ما هي شروطك؟
But what are your conditions?
قال جميلة.
First thing he said is she has to be beautiful.
الأمر الثاني
What's the second thing?
قال طويلة.
She has to be tall.
الشيء الثاني
What's the third thing?
قال شعرها طويل.
She has to have long hair.
والرابع
What's the fourth thing?
قال شعرها ناعم.
Has to have soft hair.
والخامس
What's the fifth thing?
قال عينها كبيرة.
Has to have big eyes.
والسادس
What's the sixth thing?
قال جسمها جميل.
Has to have a nice body.
والسابع
What's the seventh thing you want?
قال لون شعرها قرنبي.
The color of her hair should be burgundy.
قرنبي ما معنى قرنبي؟
Shaykh said I didn't even know what that color was.
فقال اللون الخمري الأشقر شديد.
He said it's like a dark reddish color.
قلت ماذا كذلك؟
So then I asked him what else.
قال دينا صاحب الدين.
And then the last thing he said is she has to have some religion in her.
لم يفصل في الدين.
But he didn't go into any detail about her religion.
فصل في الجمال.
But when he came to her beauty, he gave me the exact details he wanted.
إخواني نبي الله يوسف عليه السلام.
In the Quran, in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam,
النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يخبر عن نبي الله يوسف عليه السلام.
the Prophet ﷺ described Yusuf alayhi salam,
لقد أوتي يوسف وأمه شطر الحسن.
and he said that Yusuf and his mother were given half of beauty.
تعلقت به امرأة العزيز.
And that's why the wife of the Aziz was attached to him,
وهي صاحبة جمال
even though she was beautiful.
وصاحبة منصب
And she was a powerful woman,
وصاحبة مال
and she was wealthy,
وزوجها رئيس
and
وزراء
her husband was a prime minister,
ويوسف عليه السلام مملوك
and Yusuf's a slave,
ومع ذلك تعلقت به
but she became attached to him
لكمال جماله
because of his beauty,
بل راودته عن نفسه
and she tried to seduce him.
وكذلك النسوة
And likewise the other women of the town,
راودنا يوسف عليه
they
السلام عن
tried to
نفسه.
also seduce him
طبيعة القلوب تتعلق بالجمال
because it is human nature to love beauty,
من نساء ورجال.
whether it's for men or women.
إذا أردت أن تسافر
If you want to go and travel, go on holiday,
سألت عن جمال المكان.
you ask about the nice places to go and visit.
إذا أردت أن تشتري ثوبا
And if you want to buy clothes,
بحثت عن ثوب جميل.
you look for nice clothes.
إذا أردت أن تشتري بيتا
And if you want to buy a house,
بحثت عن بيت
you
جميل.
look for a nice house.
إذا أردت أن تؤثث البيت
And if you want to furnish your house,
تبحث عن أثاث جميل.
You look for nice furnishings
قلوب متعلقة بالجمال.
because hearts are attached to beauty.
ولو جمعنا كل جمال الرجال
If we were to take together and bring together all of the beauty of men
وكل جمال النساء
and all of the beauty of women
وكل جمال الكون
and all of the beauty of nature,
جعلناه في مخلوق واحد
and then place all of that into a single creation,
والله ما ضاع هذا جمال الله تبارك
it would pale in significance to the beauty of Allah Azza wa Jalla.
يقول النبي صلى الله عليه
The
وسلم
Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam,
إن الله جميل
indeed Allah is beautiful
يحب
and He
الجمال.
loves beauty.
الله عز وجل يخبر عن جماله
Allah describes His beauty to us.
ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام كله جمال.
And He says that the face of your Lord will remain full of nobility and honor, meaning it is full of beauty.
والله عز وجل يخبر عن جمال وجهه.
And Allah describes the beauty of His face and He says,
الله نور.
Allah is all light.
الله عز وجل كله جمال.
So all of Allah is beauty.
ولذا إذا بعث الناس يوم القيامة
And that's why when the people will be resurrected on the day of judgment,
وحشروا إلى أرض جديدة
and they will be made to stand on that new earth,
ما حولهم والكون حولهم كله مظلم
everything will be in darkness on that day.
فيأتي الله عز وجل فصل بين
And then
الناس
Allah will come to judge between the people.
فتشرق وأشرقت الأرض بنور ربها.
And Allah says that the earth will be illuminated with the light of your Lord
بجمال الله عز وجل تشرق الأرض.
because of the beauty of Allah Azza wa Jalla.
ولذا نبي الله موسى عليه
And
السلام
that is why the Prophet Musa alayhi
لما
salam,
كلمه الله عز
when
وجل
Allah spoke to him,
قال في نفسه
he thought to himself,
إذا جاز لي أن أسمع كلام الله وصوته
if I can hear Allah speak,
إذا ممكن أن أرى الله عز
then
وجل.
maybe I can also see Allah,
فالرؤية أخت الكلام أخت الصوت.
because hearing is the sister of seeing.
فقال ربي
So he said, oh my Lord,
أرني أنظر إليك.
allow me to see you.
فقال الله عز وجل لن تراني.
So Allah replied, you will not see me.
ما تستطيع أن تتحمل جمال في هذا رؤيتي في هذه الدنيا.
Meaning in this life, you're unable to see me.
ولكن انظر إلى الجبل.
Or look towards that mountain.
فإن استقر
And
مكانه
if it stays firm in its place,
هذا الجبل الصلب.
this solid mountain,
إذا استطاع يتحمل جمالي.
if it can withstand my beauty,
إذا تجليت له
when I show myself to it,
فسوف تراني.
then you too will see me.
فلما تجلى ربه للجبل
So when Allah showed Himself to that mountain,
جعله دكا.
it crumbled.
إخواني يقول أنس بن مالك في رواية الإمام أحمد
Anas ibn Malik said in respect to Muslim Imam Ahmad,
وأشار إلى أنمله.
he pointed to the end of his small finger.
قال ظهر من نور الله كهكذا.
He said, that is all that Allah showed of His beauty to that mountain.
فقط هذا ظهر من جمال الله عز وجل.
That's all that Allah showed of Himself.
ما استطاع الجبل أن يتحمله.
And the mountain could not withstand that beauty of Allah.
دكا على الأرض.
And so it crumbled to dust.
والله عز وجل وجهه كله جمال.
Because Allah is all beauty.
ولذا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
And that is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
كان يسأل الله تبارك وتعالى.
he would make dua to Allah.
قال ربي أسألك لذة النظر إلى
And
وجهك.
he would say, oh Allah, I ask you for the sweetness of being able to see your face.
وأسألك الشوق إلى لقائك.
And for the yearning to meet you.
لكمال جمال الله عز وجل.
And that is because of the complete and perfect beauty of Allah.
ولذا أتى الصحابة إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And that is why the companions came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day.
وقلوبهم متقطعة حبا لله
And they
تعالى.
were longing for the meeting with their Lord.
قال يا رسول الله
They said, O Messenger of Allah,
هل نرى ربنا يوم
when
القيامة؟
we see our Lord on the day of judgment,
لسان حالهم يقول نحن مشتاقون إلى الله.
meaning as if they're saying that we miss and we're longing to meet Allah.
هل نرى ربنا يوم
When we
القيامة؟
see Allah on the day of judgment,
قال النبي صلى الله عليه
the
وسلم
Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied,
هل تضامون في الشمس ليس دونها سحاب؟
do you jostle and push one another to see the clear sun in the middle of the day?
قال لا يا رسول
He
الله.
said, no, Messenger of Allah.
قال هل تضامون في القمر ليلة التم؟
And he said, do you push one another to be able to see the full moon on a clear night?
قال لا يا رسول
He
الله.
said, no, Messenger of Allah.
إنكم سوف ترون ربكم كذلك.
So he said, and likewise you will see your Lord on the day of judgment.
فمن استطاع منكم
So whoever from amongst you can,
أن يصلي قبل طلوع الشمس
whoever from amongst you can pray before sunrise,
أي صلاة الفجر
meaning the Fajr prayer,
وقبل غروبها صلاة العصر
and before the sun set, meaning the Asr prayer,
ففعل.
then let them do so.
يقول شيخ الإسلام تيمية
Ibn Taymiyyah said,
هذا الحديث فيه إشارة
in this hadith there is a sign
أنه يمكن للمؤمن
that some of the believers
أصحاب الدرجات العلى
who will have the high stations in Jannah,
أن يروا الله عز وجل في يوم مرتين
they will see Allah twice a day,
في الصباح وفي العصر
in the morning and the evening,
على قدر محافظتهم على الجماعة لصلاة الفجر والعصر.
based upon how diligent they were in performing those two prayers in congregation.
عسى الله عز وجل يجعلنا منهم.
May Allah make us from them.
وإذا قال الله تبارك
And
وتعالى
that's what Allah says.
وجوه يومئذ ناظرة
On that day, faces will be radiant,
إلى ربها ناظرة.
looking towards their Lord.
فإذا نظرت إلى الله ازدادت حسنا وجمالا.
Because when they see their Lord, they will increase in beauty.
الله عز وجل
And Allah says,
على الأرائك ينظرون إلى وجه الله.
they will be reclining on couches looking towards their Lord.
ولذا كان المؤمنون
And that is why the believers,
ينفقون أحب ما لديهم
they would spend what is most beloved to them,
من أجل نظرة واحدة إلى وجه
so
الله.
that they could only have to see Allah even if only once.
ويطعمون الطعام على حبه.
Allah says that they feed others despite their love for it.
مسكينا
They give it to the poor
ويتيما
and the orphan
وأسيرا.
and the prisoner.
إنما نطعمكم لوجه
And
الله.
they say, we only feed you for Allah's face.
لا نريد منكم جزاء ولا
We
شكورا.
don't want from you any reward or any thanks.
فقط نريد نظرة واحدة إلى وجه الله.
They only want to see the face of Allah if only once.
وإذا كان أبو بكر رضي الله تعالى عنه
And that is why Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu
ينفق كل ما عنده.
used to spend everything that he possessed.
يقول له النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ماذا أبقيت لأهلك؟
The Prophet ﷺ would ask him, what did you leave behind for your family?
قال أبقيت له الله
He
ورسوله.
would say, I left for them Allah and His Messenger.
يقول الله عز وجل
Allah says
وسيجنبها الأتقى الجنة النار الأتقى
that the one who is pious will be saved from the fire.
الذي يؤتي ماله
The
يتزكى
one who gives his wealth in order to purify himself.
وما لأحد عنده من نعمة
And he doesn't expect any payment from anyone else,
إلا ابتغاء وجه رب العالمين نظر إلى
but
وجه
he seeks the face of his Lord the Most High,
ولسوف يرضى.
and he will be made to be pleased.
ولذا يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في حديث مسلم
And that is why the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the hadith in Sahih Muslim,
إذا دخل أهل الجنة الجنة
when the people of Jannah into Jannah
وأهل النار النار
and the people of the fire in the fire,
نادى منادي
the caller will call out,
يا أهل الجنة
O people of Jannah,
إن لكم عند الله موعدا
you have an appointment with your Lord,
يريد أن
and He
ينجزكم.
wants to fulfill it for you.
قال
So they will ask, what type of appointment is this?
حققنا كل ما أردنا.
Allah has given to us everything we could need.
ألم يبيض وجوهنا
Has He not already brightened our faces?
وادخلنا الجنة
Has He not already entered us into Jannah? Has
وزحزحنا عن النار.
He not already saved us from the fire?
يقول النبي صلى الله عليه
The
وسلم
Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam,
فيكشف الحجاب
Allah will remove His veil,
فما أعطوا شيئا أحب إليه من النظر إلى الله.
and they won't be given anything more beloved to them than being able to see the face of their Lord.
إذا كلما رأيت جمالا
So whenever you see something beautiful in this life,
فاعلم بأنه لا يساوي شيئا مع جمال الله تعالى.
know that it is nothing in comparison to the beauty of Allah.
فلا يضلنك هذا الجمال عن الجمال
So
الدائم.
don't let the beauty of this world misguide you and take you away from the permanent beauty of Allah in the next life.
لا يجعلنك هذا الجمال تعصي الله عز وجل وتفقد الجمال الدائم.
And don't let this beauty of the dunya make you sin, and therefore by doing so you lose the beauty of seeing Allah on the day of judgment.
كلما استمتعت بجمال الكون بجمال المزارع بجمال المكان
And as you enjoy the beauty of the dunya and the beauty of nature and so on,
فاعلم أن هذه السعادة القلبية تفوق إذا رأيت الله تفوقها درجات.
know that the happiness that you feel will be far greater when you see Allah Azza wa Jalla on the day of judgment.
إذا هذا الطريق الأول
So this is the first way,
لكي تحب الله عز وجل أكثر من كل
that
شيء.
you may love Allah more than anything else.
أنت تحب الجمال
You love beauty.
فجمال الله تبارك وتعالى.
So remember that the beauty of Allah is the greatest of all beauty.
الطريق الثاني
The second way,
تحب الله عز وجل أكثر من كل
that
شيء.
you may love Allah more than anything else.
ربما أمك ليست جميلة
Maybe your mother isn't beautiful.
وتحبها.
You still love her.
لما؟
Why do you love her?
لها يد عليك.
Because of the favor she did for you.
ربما شخص ليس جميلا
Maybe someone's not a beautiful person,
كلما طلبت منهم شيء أعطاك
but every time you ask them for a favor, they give it to you.
بل يضاعف لك مرادك
But rather, they give you more than what you ask for.
بل ربما يعطيك قبل أن تتكلم.
And maybe some of those people give it to you before you even have to ask from them.
ألا تحبه؟
Don't you love them for that?
أسألك ما تحبه؟
Just asking you, wouldn't you love such a person?
تحبه
You love them
لما له من العيال عليك.
because of the many favors they do for you.
والله عز وجل يقول
Allah says,
ما بكم من نعمة فمن الله
you don't have a single blessing except that it comes from Allah.
وأسبغ عليكم نعمه ظاهرة وباطنة
He has poured His blessings upon you both open and hidden.
وإن تعدوا نعمة الله لا
And
تحصوها.
if you were to try to count Allah's blessings, you will be unable to do so.
نعم الله عز وجل عليك دائما.
Because the blessings of Allah are always upon you.
وأنا أذكر لكم مثال أضرب لكم أو أذكر لكم قصة الرشيد.
The Shaykh said that there is a story about the Khalifa Harun al-Rashid.
كان الرشيد جالسا في مجلسه
He was sitting one day in his gathering
مع العلماء
with the scholars
والشعراء
and the poets
والأدباء
and the people of literature
والفقهاء
and the scholars
والوعاظ
and the reminders
في يوم صائف.
on a hot summer's day.
عطش الرشيد
And so he became thirsty after a while.
فطلب كأس من الماء.
So he asked for a glass of water.
قبل أن يشرب هذا الكأس
So before he drank from the water,
قال ابن السماك له
one of his advisors said to him,
يا أمير المؤمنين
O leader of the Muslims,
أرأيت لو كنت في صحراء قاحلة
imagine if you were in the middle of a barren desert,
في شدة الحرارة
in the middle of the extreme heat,
لا ماء فيها
and there's no water to be found,
واشتد عطشك
and you're extremely thirsty,
وتكاد أن تموت.
and you're about to die from that thirst.
بكم تشتري هذا الكأس؟
How much would you pay for a single glass of water?
وأنا هارون الرشيد
The Khalifa Harun al-Rashid,
مملكته قد وصلت إلى الصين
the empire of the Muslims at that time stretched from China
وإلى الهند
and India
وإلى المغرب
all the way to Morocco and southern Spain,
وإلى روسيا وأنقرة في
and
الشمال
you would go towards the north all the way to Russia
وإلى منتصف أفريقيا.
and all the way south to Central Africa.
كان يقول للسحابة
If he saw a rain cloud, he would say,
شرقي أو غربي
whether you go east or west,
فإن خراجك من الثمار سيأتيني.
the rain that you give and the produce that comes from that rain will come back to me anyway.
ثروات هذه المملكة كنت تحت يده.
This was all of that treasure of his empire, all under his kingdom.
قال يا أمير المؤمنين بكم تشتري هذا الكأس من الماء في مثل هذه
So
الحالة؟
his advisor asked him, how much would you pay for that glass of water?
قال يا ابن السماك أشتريه بنصف ملكي.
He said, I would pay half of my kingdom for it.
قال يا أمير المؤمنين
So he said, O leader of the Muslims,
اشرب هنيئا مريئا.
drink.
شرب الماء.
So he drank.
ما كان فترة قال كذلك.
And then he continued to speak to the people around him.
شعر بالحصر.
And then he felt like he needed to go to the bathroom.
أراد أن يتنوم.
So he wanted to get up.
فهم ابن السماك لماذا أراد القيام.
So his advisor, the same advisor, he understood where he wanted to go.
قال يا أمير المؤمنين.
And he said to him, O leader of the Muslims,
أرأيت وين تخرج.
imagine if you couldn't go to the bathroom, you couldn't relieve yourself.
وإذا عندي صدر خارج الماء.
And if a person can't relieve themselves,
سيتسمم الجسم.
then his body becomes poisoned
ويموت.
and he dies.
قال رأيت لو منعت خروج هذا الماء.
So he said to imagine you couldn't go to the bathroom.
كم تدفع
How much would you pay
حتى تخرج هذا الماء؟
just to relieve yourself?
فكر هذا الشيء.
So Harun al-Rashid thought about this.
فقال يا ابن السماك نصف ملكي.
And he said, I would give the other half of my kingdom.
قال يا أمير المؤمنين.
He said, O leader of the Muslims,
نصف ملكك لتشرب الماء.
half of your kingdom for a glass of water,
ونصف ملك لإخراج الماء.
and the other half to relieve it.
ما تريد بملك وثروة لا تساوي شربة ماء.
What kind of a kingdom isn't even worth a glass of water?
وأنا كم واحد منهم باليوم يشرب ماء ويخرج؟
Shaykh said, how many times a day do you drink water and go to the bathroom?
أنا أفعل هذا.
Don't we do this multiple times a day?
إذا هذه الثروات كلها نملكها بلا مقابل.
And so it's as if Allah has given to you multiple kingdoms.
نأكل ونخرج بلا مقابل.
We eat food and we relieve ourselves and it's free.
أنعمها الله عز وجل عليك.
And Allah has blessed you with that ability to do so.
العين التي أكرمك الله عز
The eye
وجل.
that you have,
كم قيمته؟
how much do you pay for it?
لو فقد الإنسان العين
If you were to lose your eye,
كم سيشتري هذا العين؟
how much would you pay for another eye? How much would it cost?
حصلت عليه من
But
المقابل.
Allah gave it to you for free.
لو بقيت العين ولكن بلا بصر
And if you had your eye but you lost your eyesight,
كم يدفع لإرجاع البصر؟
how much would you pay for your eyesight?
حصلت عليه من المقابل.
And Allah gave it to you for free.
الأذن بلا مقابل.
Your ear is free.
السمع بلا مقابل.
Your hearing is free.
الكلى بلا مقابل.
Your kidneys are free.
الكبد بلا
Your
مقابل.
liver is free.
الرئة بلا
Your
مقابل.
lungs are free.
تعمل كل هذه الأجهزة بلا مقابل.
And they all work seamlessly and it's free.
الأمعاء بلا مقابل.
Your stomach is free.
المعدة بلا
And your
مقابل.
intestines are free.
الرجلان بلا
And your
مقابل.
feet are free.
اليدان بلا
Your
مقابل.
hands are free.
الأنف بلا مقابل.
Your nose is free.
الشم بلا
To
مقابل.
smell is free.
حركة الدم بلا
Your
مقابل.
blood circulates for free.
القلب اخوان بلا مقابل.
Your heart is free.
كم سعر القلب؟
How much does the heart cost? How much is it worth?
وانا صاحبي
The Shaykh said one of his friends,
منذ ما يقارب 25 إلى 30 سنة تقريبا
30 years ago,
أصيب ابنه في قلبه.
his young son, had a heart defect.
ذهب إلى أمريكا لعلاجه.
So he took him to America for treatment.
فقال لابد من إبداله.
So they said to him, your son needs a heart transplant.
كم دفع مقابل شراء القلب؟
Do you know how much he had to pay for that heart for his son?
منذ ما يقارب 30 سنة.
And this is 30 years ago he paid that amount.
بيته 50,000.
He paid 150,000.
أنت حصلت عليه بلا مقابل.
And Allah gave it to you for free.
كل ضربة للقلب بلا مقابل.
And every time it beats, it's free.
الأعصاب بلا مقابل.
And all of your body is free.
دماغك بلا
Your
مقابل.
brain is free.
لو كان دماغ موجود لكنه مجنون.
Imagine if you had a brain but you can't use it, you're crazy, you're mad, you can't use it.
كم تدفع ليرجع إليك عقلك؟
How much would you pay for your ability to think straight?
كل هذا بلا مقابل.
All of it, Allah gave it to you for free.
ولا يستحق أن يحب.
So therefore, isn't Allah worthy of our love?
لو كان الشخص كل ما طلبت منه وأعطاك
If someone was to give you everything you asked for,
أحببته.
you love that person.
أما تحب الله عز وجل.
So don't you love Allah more?
أكرمك بالثروات
Allah has given you so many treasures,
بلا مقابل.
all for free.
إذا هذا الطريق الثاني
So this is the second one.
الذي يجعلنا نحب الله أكثر من كل
That
شيء.
will allow you to love Allah more than anything else.
تفكر في كل ما تجي.
Remember every single blessing Allah gave you.
بين فترة أخرى إذا إلى المستشفى.
And maybe every so often you should visit the hospital
وانظر إلى أحوال الناس.
and look at how sick people can become
وكيف عافاك الله عز وجل.
and how Allah saved you from the illnesses.
بلا مقابل.
All of this for free.
ما يستحق أن يحب.
So therefore, isn't He worthy of our love?
إذا هذا الطريق الثاني.
This is the second way.
الطريق الثاني.
The third way.
ربما شخص ليس جميل.
Maybe someone that you know isn't necessarily beautiful,
وليست له يد عليك.
and maybe they never did any favors for you.
ولكنك تسمع عن أخلاقه العالية.
But you hear about them and you hear about their amazing character and what they do for others.
يعطي هذا ويعطي هذا ويعطي
That
هذا.
he gives this person, helps that person, is generous to that person,
ويتلطف مع هذا ومع ذاك.
and he's gentle to this person and merciful to that person.
مع قمة الأخلاق.
And so he's a role model in his character.
ألا تحب هذا الإنسان؟
Don't you love that person when you hear that description about them?
أنا أسألك.
Just asking you.
تحبه.
You love it.
وهي ما من صفة كمال إلا والله عز وجل أولى بيتصف بها.
There's not a good attribute except that Allah has the most perfect version of it.
وما من صفة نقص إلا والله عز وجل أولى بينزه عنها.
Any attribute of deficiency except that Allah is free from it.
كل صفات الكمال لله تبارك
All of
وتعالى.
the perfect attributes belong to Allah.
ومنزه عن كل صفات النقص.
And Allah is free from every deficient attribute.
يحلم على عباده.
Allah Azza wa Jalla is patient with His slaves.
ويصبر عليهم ويسترهم.
And Allah Azza wa Jalla veils them when they sin.
كريم.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is generous.
رحمن.
He is gracious.
غفور.
He is forgiving.
تواب.
He accepts their repentance.
حكيم.
He is wise.
مع كمال علمه.
And He has full and complete knowledge.
وكمال قدرته.
And He has full and complete power.
ويصبر على الناس.
And He is forbearing with His people.
أما يستحق أن يحب.
Isn't that something which makes you love Allah?
وأنا أخبركم عن أعرابي.
The Shaykh said there was a Bedouin man
سمع صفة من صفات الله عز
who
وجل.
heard about only one of Allah's attributes.
ما أظن أن أغلب الناس لو سمعوا هذه الصفة تأثروا.
The Shaykh said, I think most of us, if we were to hear the attribute, it wouldn't make a difference to us.
ما يرى بأن صفة مؤثرة.
You don't think that it's an important attribute of Allah.
لكن انظروا كيف تأثر الأعرابي هذه الصفة.
But look at how when the Bedouin heard this one, he became impacted by it.
إخواني رواه مسلم.
And Imam Muslim
رواه
collected
البخاري ومسلم أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
that
قال.
the Prophet ﷺ said,
قبل هذا لابد أن نعرف بأن أخواني النار تنقسم إلى قسمين.
and before that we have to know that there are two types of people that will go into the fire of hell.
نار المشركين الملحدين.
Those who are disbelievers in Allah, they commit shirk.
هذه نار خالدة.
Those people will never leave the fire.
القسم الثاني من النار.
But then there's a group of people, a second group of people,
نار عصاة الموحدين.
and they are the people who are Muslims but they sinned.
عندهم جرائم كثيرة.
They have many sins.
فهؤلاء يدخلون النار.
So these people may go into the fire
ويعاقبون
and Allah may punish them
إلى فترة ثم يخرجون.
until Allah cleanses them and then He will allow them to leave.
لكن يخرجون في وقت واحد.
But they don't all leave at the same time,
على قدر معاصيهم
depending on how many sins they have
وعلى قدر رحمة الله عز وجل لهم.
and depending on how merciful Allah is towards them.
ولأحد هؤلاء
One of those people that is in that type of that, from that group of the people of the fire,
كان موحدا
is a person of Tawheed,
ولكنه ربما صاحب معاصي
or maybe he had many sins
وصاحب كبر
and maybe he was arrogant,
ومجالسه كله نفس صنفه.
and the people people like him.
وربما صاحب التكبر.
And he was a man of arrogance.
ربما ملياردير.
Maybe he was a millionaire.
لا يعرف لا صلاة ولا
Maybe he didn't know about prayer, he never fasted, never did anything good.
كان موحدا.
But he had tawheed of Allah.
ومجالسه مجالس كبر.
And his gatherings where he sits with people, they're just showing off and arrogant.
واحتقار للناس.
And he's belittling others.
ربما يدخلون عليهم الفقير.
Maybe sometimes he used to bring a poor person
مقطع الثياب.
who had ripped clothing
فقط للاستهزاء.
just to make fun of him.
يقول له تمنى ماذا تريد.
They would ask him, tell me, what would you like?
قال أي شيء.
And he would say, can I ask for anything I want?
نعم أي شيء
He
أريد.
would say, yes, ask for whatever you want.
أنا أريد قصرا كبيرا.
Then he would say, I want a big house.
مزرعة كبيرة.
And I want a big farm.
وماذا كذلك.
And they would say to him, what else would you like?
قال سيارة روز رويس.
And he says, I want a Rolls Royce.
أحدث الموديلات.
And I want the latest model.
وأفضل أنواع.
And top of the range.
وماذا كذلك.
And what else would you like?
وخذ يتمنى.
And so he just starts telling them all the stuff he'd love to have.
فكل هؤلاء أخذ يضحكون عليه.
And then after he finishes, they all start laughing and making fun of him.
وجهك وجه هذه الأمور.
And they say to him, do you think you're worthy of these things?
أخرج.
And then
يطردونه
they
بعد.
tell him, kick him out, they tell him to leave.
والكل يضحك عليه.
And they just want to make fun of him.
كانت لهم مثل هذه المجالس ربما.
Maybe this is how they used to behave in the dunya.
يقول النبي صلى الله عليه
The
وسلم
Prophet said sallallahu alayhi wasallam
عن عصاة الموحدين
about these people who were believers but they had sins.
عن آخر رجل يخرج من النار.
Allah, he described the last person to ever leave the fire from that group.
كان يقول ربي أخرجني من النار.
He used to make dua to Allah, oh Allah, let me leave the fire.
يرى جماعات قبله كانت تخرج من النار.
And he saw the other people around him were leaving eventually.
لكنه لم يخرج منه.
But he himself hasn't left.
إلى أن بقي وحده في النار.
And now he is the last person left in that part of the fire.
ربي أخرجني من النار.
So he says, oh Allah, allow me to leave.
فيأخذ الله عز وجل عليه العهود والمواثيق.
So Allah will take from him many promises
ألا يسأله غيره.
that he will never ask for anything ever again.
يعطي الله عز وجل هذه
So he will make promises to Allah in that, to that effect.
يخرجه الله عز وجل من النار.
So Allah will allow him then to leave the fire.
وجوه تلقاء النار.
But he's still facing the fire.
يشم رائحتها ودخانها.
He can feel its smoke and smell its bad odors.
فقال ربي.
So after a while he will say, oh my Lord,
حول وجه النار.
let me face away from this
قد
fire
آذاني قشبوها وريحها.
because its smoke and its odor is harming me.
حول وجهه عنه. قال ويلك ابن آدم ما غدرك.
So Allah will say to him, woe to you, how treacherous you are.
ألم تعطيني العهود المواثقة لا تسألني غيره.
Didn't you just promise that you never ask for anything again?
قال ربي والله لا أسألك
He
غيره.
will say, I won't ask for anything after this one.
حول وجهه عنه.
So Allah will allow him to turn away from the fire. He will stay there a while.
قال ربي.
Then he will say, oh Allah,
قربني قال ربي حول وجهي إلى الجنة.
oh Allah, allow me to look in the direction of paradise.
ويلك ابن آدم.
So Allah will say to him, woe to you,
ما غدرك.
how treacherous you are.
ألم تعطيني العهود المواثقة لا تسألني
Didn't
غيره.
you just promise that you never ask for anything ever again?
والله يا رب لا أسألك
So he
غيره.
will say, oh Allah, after this one I won't ask for anything more.
حول وجهه إلى
So then Allah will allow him to face Jannah. He will stay there for a while.
قال ربي.
And then he will say, oh Allah,
قربني إلى باب الجنة.
let me come closer to the gate of Jannah.
ويلك ابن آدم ما غدرك.
So Allah will say to him, woe to you, how treacherous you are.
ألم تعطيني العهود المواثقة لا تسألني غيره.
Didn't you just promise that you never ask for anything ever again?
قال والله يا رب لا أسألك
I
غيره.
will say, by Allah, I won't ask for anything after this one.
قال ربي باب الجنة.
So Allah will allow him to come close to Jannah.
ارتفعت الجنة.
And now he can see all of Jannah before him.
رأى ما فيه من نعيم.
And he can see the blessings of Jannah.
وناس يتعامون فيها.
And he can see the people of Jannah enjoying themselves in it.
فاقت نفسه.
And so now he really wants to go in.
فقال ربي
So he says, oh Allah,
ادخل في الجنة.
allow me to go in Jannah.
ويلك ابن آدم ما غدرك.
So Allah will say to him, woe to you, how treacherous you are.
ألم تعطيني العهود المواثقة لا تسألني غيره.
Didn't you just promise that you never ask for anything ever again?
قال والله يا رب لا أسألك غيره.
So he will say, by Allah, I won't ask for anything after this one.
ماذا يريد الآن
The
هذا؟
Shaykh said, now what else is there left to ask for once he's in Jannah?
فقال له الله عز وجل تمنى.
So Allah will then say to him, make a wish.
ربما كان ملياردير.
Maybe this man in this world, in this life, was a millionaire.
كان يعيش في 5 نجوم.
Maybe he used to have a life of luxury,
في 10 نجوم.
a life of 10 stars,
في القصور وفي أعلى المراتب.
living in palaces.
فقال له الله عز وجل تمنى.
So when Allah says to him, make a wish,
أخذ يتمنى ما كان يعيشه في الدنيا.
he will make wishes in accordance to what he saw in this life.
ما هذا؟
But it will be said to him, what types of wishes are those?
هذا لا يساوي خيمة مقطع في الصحراء مقابل الجنة.
Because the most luxurious of things in this life is like a tent in the desert compared to Jannah.
يقول له الله عز وجل في الجنة كذا تمنى.
So Allah will then say to him, in Jannah you will find this and this, ask for that.
في الجنة كذا.
And in Jannah there is this.
فيتمنى العبد.
And then he will ask for those things.
تمنى.
So Allah will then say to him, ask again.
ويذكره الله عز وجل ماذا في الجنة.
And Allah will tell him what to ask for and he will ask for it. He will ask for it.
الله عز وجل يذكر ويتمنى ويذكر ويتمنى.
And so he will keep doing this with him.
إذا قال له الله عز وجل تمنى.
And then finally Allah will say to him, wish for more.
قال رب انقطعت الأمان.
And he will say, there is nothing more to wish for.
تمنى قال رب انقطعت
Allah
الأمان.
will say, wish for more. He will say, there's nothing left to wish for.
قال له الله عز وجل.
Then Allah will say to him,
هذا لك.
all of this is for you.
وعشرة أمثاله معه.
And you can have 10 times its like.
ضحك الله.
And then Allah will smile at him.
هذا الآن استرجع أحواله في الدنيا.
This person now is remembering how people used to behave in this world.
كانوا يدخلون الفقير ويقول له تمنى فيتمنى.
When that poor person comes and used to make fun of him and ask him to make dream and wish,
ليجعلوه أضحكة.
just so that they could make fun of him.
ثم يخرجوه يطلونه
And
بلا
then they
شيء.
would kick him out.
ضحك الله عز وجل.
So when this man sees Allah smiling,
ظن أنه كذلك يضحك عليه.
he thinks maybe he's being made fun of as well.
قال ربي أتستهزئون.
So he will say, oh Allah, are you making fun of me?
وأنت رب العالمين.
And you're the Lord of everything.
قال لا أستهزئ بك.
So Allah will say, I don't make fun of you,
ولكني على ما أشاء قادر.
but I do as I please.
ادخل الجنة وخذ ما قلت.
Go into Jannah and take what I have given to you.
انتهى حديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
So this is the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned.
إخواني أعرابي
There was a Bedouin man.
سمع بأن الله عز وجل يضحك.
He heard this narration and at the end that Allah smiles.
قال رب يضحك.
So he said, do we have a Lord that smiles?
جبار السماوات والأرض يضحك.
The one who owns everything in the heavens and the earth smiles?
والله لن نعدم خيرا من ربي يضحك.
You will never cease to hope for good from a Lord that smiles.
تعلق القلب بإحسان الله عز وجل.
And so his heart became attached to Allah's mercy.
فأحب الله عز وجل من خلال صفة فقط الضحك.
And he loved Allah just because he heard of that one attribute of Allah smiling.
ربما عندك أنت معاملة.
Maybe you, for example, you have some people that there needs to be signed.
وكل أبواب أغلقت
And
أمامك.
every time you go to someone, they refuse to help you.
ما استجاب أحدهم لك في توقيع هذا.
No one wants to help you, no one wants to give you a hand.
دخلت على شخص تاجر ملياردير.
So now you finally get to someone who's a rich man, a millionaire.
عندما رآك ابتسم لك ابتسامة صادقة.
And when he sees you, he smiles at you in a genuine way.
ابتسم لك.
And you think to yourself, is he smiling at me or someone else?
ما وجدت أحد إلا أنت.
But there's no one there except you.
ماذا يخطر في قلبك؟
What would you think if someone smiles at you in that way? You'd be hopeful that he's going to give to you what you need.
والموضوع عند هذا الشخص.
That this person, he's the one that can do this.
هذه الابتسامة تعطيك هذا الشعور.
Because when you smile at someone in that way, that's the feeling you give to them.
هذا الأعرابي شعر بهذا الشعور.
And that's why that Bedouin, when he heard that Allah smiles, that's what he felt.
رب يضحك.
That we have a Lord that smiles.
والله لن نعدم خيرا ربي يضحك.
A Lord that smiles will always give good to you.
يقول كيف أثرت هذه الصفة على حبه الله عز وجل.
Look at how it impacted him and made him love Allah more.
فكيف إذا قرأنا القرآن؟
So what about if you read the whole Quran,
كله صفات الله عز
in
وجل.
which Allah mentions many of His names and attributes?
منذ أول سورة
From
القرآن.
the very first surah of the
بل
Quran,
من التسمية.
but rather from even when you say Bismillah,
الرحمن.
you say that He is most gracious,
الرحيم.
most merciful.
نقول الحمد لله رب
And
العالمين.
then you say, oh, praises for Allah, Lord of all that exists,
الرحمن.
most gracious,
الرحيم.
most merciful,
مالك يوم الدين.
owner of the day of judgment.
هذه أول سورة.
That's the first surah of the Quran.
آخر سورة.
And you continue all the way to the last surah of the
قل
Quran.
أعوذ برب الناس.
Say, I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind,
ملك الناس.
the King of mankind,
إله الناس.
the God of mankind.
القرآن كله أسماء وصفات.
And that's why the Quran is full of Allah's names and attributes.
لتتعرف على الله عز
So
وجل.
that you can learn about your Lord.
متصل بكمال الصفات.
Because He has the greatest and most perfect of
ما
attributes.
من صفة كمال إلا والله عز وجل أولى بها
There's
التسليم.
no perfect attribute except that it belongs to Allah.
وما من صفة نقص إلا والله عز وجل أولى بها
And no
النزاع.
deficient attribute except that it is free from Allah, or Allah is free from it.
ألا تحب الله عز وجل.
So therefore, do you not love Allah?
ولد علماء السلف
And that is why the scholars of the past,
كان دائما يصرون
they used to emphasize
على إثبات صفات الله تبارك وتعالى
emphasize the affirmation of Allah's attributes
من غير تحريف له
without misinterpreting them
ولا نفي له
or rejecting them.
يثبتون معانيها بما دلت عليه.
They would affirm what is apparent in those names and attributes of Allah.
لما؟
Why?
يحب الله عز وجل.
So that you can learn to love Allah.
لكن لا تستطيع أن تحب من لا تعرف.
Because you can't love someone that you don't know.
تتعرف عليه ثم تحبه.
You must learn about someone before you learn to love them.
وللإخوان الطريق إلى محبة الله عز وجل.
And that is why the paths that lead you to loving Allah
أكثر من كل شيء.
more than anything else.
أن تتعرف على جمال الله.
Number one, you remember Allah's beauty.
كلما رأيت جماله بأن جمال الله لا يقارن.
And every time you see something beautiful, remember that Allah's beauty is far greater.
إذا شعرت بهذه السعادة عندما رأيت هذا الجمال.
And if you feel happy when you see something beautiful,
فإنك تعيش بسعادة لا تقارن إن رأيت الله عز وجل.
then the beauty, the happiness you will feel when you see Allah's beauty is far, far greater.
تحب الله أكثر من كل شيء.
And that is how you love Allah more than anything else.
وتتعرف عليه عن طريق صفاته.
And then also learn about Allah's names and attributes.
تتعرف بأن الله عز وجل له أكمل الصفات.
And that Allah has the most perfect attributes.
الطريق الثاني محبة الله.
That's the second way.
الطريق الثالث.
And the third way was
انظر إلى أياد الله عز وجل عليك.
remember Allah's blessings upon you
حتى تحب الله.
so that you may love Him.
إذن هذه الطرق الثلاث تحب الله عز وجل.
These are the three ways to love Allah more than anything else. And all praise is due to Allah. Any questions?
موضوع المحرم يتناقش مع واحد ملحد
كان هذا لكن حالة الأمر أن رأيت موجودين متفاوتون أطفال ووسط أخشى أن تدخل عليهم الشبهة وما تخرج.
خلاص
يكون الدرس مفسدته أكثر من مصلحته.
There's no questions? Barakallahu.
السلام عليكم يا شيخ، جزاك الله أنت خير على المسلمين إن شاء الله.
Selamat pagi.
Ya. Selamat sore. Afternoon, sore. Pagi, morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
No, I think it's morning.
Translation skills must have improved in
Let's hope.
Yeah, Izzadin is organizing.